Rock Basilisk, 4 and a green and a red for a 4/5. That's pretty average. When Rock Basilisk blocks or is blocked by a non-wall creature, destroy that creature at end of turn. Okay, that's an ability they've seen to use here and there. You know, the kind of the death touch kind of thing. It's no good. It's just on a creature. It's unlikely to ever see play, so it's not worth buying. Galabraid, 3 and 2 black for a 5/5. Okay, sounds alright. Trample, yeah, it's even better. But then it's got to accumulate upkeep 1 life. So it's just a beater. No one's really looking for a 5 mana 5/5 trample beater. You can do better things. Creature combat really doesn't have the allure that it did back, 20 years ago. So these kind of cards are never destined to be worth much. Pillar Tombs of Aku, 2 and 2 blacks is 4 mana for an enchantment. During each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature, or that player loses 5 life, and then you put this enchantment in the graveyard. It's a bit weird. Somebody would just pay the 5 life. Otherwise, just go around people sacrificing creatures. Could find a use if there's a way to just keep getting it back from your graveyard into play. That's the sort of thing that's going to tip the scales and make everyone want to play this kind of card. Ring of Renewal, 5 mana artifact. Pay 5, tap it, discard a card at random from your hand to draw 2 cards. See, there's sort of the looting kind of thing going on here. It's not bad in any respect, but for 5 mana, it's an expensive artifact, and you're going to pay 5 to activate. Get rid of those 2 conditions, and it becomes okay. But really, it's just an effect. And although it is a pretty good effect, one day there'll be a way that discarding does something really good, drawing does something really good, printed on a card, and then this sort of thing, getting both effects sort of, trigger some massive ability, and then this sort of card becomes valuable, but unlikely because it's just got a too high mana cost and too high activation cost. Phantasmal Sphere, 1 and a blue for a 0/1, flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on the sphere. During your upkeep, pay 1 for each of these 1/1 counters. If you don't pay the mana, you bury the creature. If the sphere leaves play, put an orb token into play under target opponent's control, and that creature is XX, a blue creature with flying, where X was the number of counters you had before you couldn't pay it anymore. So strange sort of card. Sucks up your mana over and over until you can't pay it, and then gives the opponent something decent. Never going to be really worth anything. Spores of War. A black plus X. Put X +1/+1 counters on any number of target creatures distributed any way you choose, where X is equal to the number of creatures and artifacts in target opponent's graveyard. Okay, so this is an okay card. It's not the worst. Get a whole lot of tokens, but it's in black, which doesn't really have that much kind of activations that do this sort of thing. So yeah, maybe one day this will take off, because putting +1/+1 counters actually is getting pushed. So this could be something to spec on. Dwarven Armourer, a red for a 0/2 dwarf. Pay red, tap it, discard a card from your hand to put either a 0/0/1 or a +1/+0 counter on target creatures. Well, they don't do these kind of counters anymore. They just do +1/+1, -1/-1. So it's an obsoleted kind of effect. Discarding a card to put such a trivial token on a creature isn't what people really want to be doing. If the discard effect becomes useful, maybe this card will take off. It only costs 1 mana and 1 mana activates, so it's an easy way to get discard volume up, but unlikely to be worth anything. Thelonite Monk, 2 and 2 green for a 1/2. It's a bad rate. Tap it, sacrifice a green creature to turn target land into a basic forest. Mark change land with a counter. So it changes a land into only a forest until the end of the game, or until that leaves play. It's it's not worth 4 mana. It's not something people are trying to do. You don't want to make a land a forest. Like, until lands become like instantaneous game wins, why do you want to do it? Like, maybe you're trying to hit the opponent's Gaze Cradle to stop them from getting access to too much mana, or maybe you're trying to, or Dark Depths or something like that, but it's never going to be really worth anything. Timberline Ridge, okay, it's one of the Ice Age lands with depletion counters. Probably never going to be sought after. Gargantuan Gorilla, 4 and 3 green for a 7/7, 7 mana 7/7, but it's got a downside. During upkeep, you have to sacrifice a forest, or you lose a gorilla and it deals 7 damage to you. So if you sacrifice a snow-covered forest, it gains trample until end of turn. So it's a pretty steep cost just to have this around. And you can tap it, and it deals an amount of damage equal to its power to another creature. So you can just do a fight. You know, you can fight another creature, which is not bad. But it's, once again, it's just a creature. A beater is going to get through. The creature game doesn't really exist anymore. But, you know, it's mediocre, okay, I'd say, but not worth specking. Ivory Gargoyle, 4 and a white for a 2/2 flying. In white, that's not bad, but it's pretty poor. There's many things you could be doing that's better than that. If the Ivory Gargoyle is put into the graveyard from play, put it into play under owner control at the end of turn, and then you skip your next draw phase. Okay, so that's horrible. You're just never going to get to draw a card. If there's some way for you to bypass that, you keep drawing cards anyway because you've got, you know, some one-sided Howling Mine, then this becomes okay. You can pay 4 and a white to remove it from the game, so then it stops doing its thing, but it's not really worth anything. It's never going to be worth anything. Prismatic Lace, okay, target permanent becomes a colour of your choice. Something huge would have to happen for this to sort of become really a worthwhile card. Colours matters kind of thing, but they could probably print something similar, so it's no big deal. I don't think it's ever going to see the light of play. Ication Lieutenant, 2 white for a 1/2, and then you can pay 1 and a white. Target soldier gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay, so not really worthwhile. Zalfarin Crusader, 1 and 2 white for a 2/2 flanking. Yeah, it's alright. Pay 1 and a white, redirect 1 damage from the Crusader to target creature or player. So a mana activated redirect built into the card. It's not really what people are trying to do these days. Unlikely to ever see play. Azen Highway, 3 and 3 white. All white creatures gain Planeswalk. So pretty crap all round, giving your opponents white creatures Planeswalk against you. They may not even have planes, so it doesn't do anything. Just junk.